What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp here for the Fightful.com podcast, August 16th edition, brought to you by DraftBeast.com and on it. Go to our podcast page on Fightful.com. Click any of those links, and you'll see the On It link in which you can click, visit, check out their apparel, their equipment, their supplements, support the Fightful.com podcast. I am joined by Jeff Hawkins of Shake Them Ropes. Jeff, you lost to Rob in the ratings last week. How do you feel?
Well, he gets quantity, you get quality.
Well played.
Thank you.
Well played. we have the Diaz versus McGregor of podcasting right here between Jeff Hawkins and Rob McCarran, Monday and Tuesday nights here at Fightful.com. You can catch them on Wednesdays. Shake Them Ropes. Highly recommended, y'all. We have Smackdown tonight. We have Jon Jones doing crazy, well, not doing crazy stuff, maybe crazy stuff happening to him. What did you think of the show overall, Jeff?
You know what? It wasn't spectacular, but it was solid again. You know what? I would much rather, and I have a radio host that I listen to occasionally that says this, as opposed to having 10s and 2s in your life, you want solid 7s throughout. This is a solid 7 to me. I think SmackDown has much more logical, incremental booking than Raw does, which seems to just kind of want to throw things out there that make no sense from time to time, pop a crowd, pop a quarter rating. This show has a lot more care to it, in my opinion, and I thought it wasn't as hard to watch as Raw was, in my opinion.
As we've said before, this show is much easier to digest than a 3-hour Raw. Mm-hmm. Much easier to digest. Also, I didn't get your thoughts on the TNA situation from last week. Billy Corgan taking over day-to-day operations from Dixie Carter. Dixie Carter apparently in charge of long-term planning, which has went spectacularly for her over the past 10 years or so, right? So what do you make of the moves? Do you think that any change will really happen?
Well, I will glom off of Rob's opinion here a bit. Billy Corgan's run a wrestling federation before. Didn't really go that well. I don't know. You have a different head, but the same body. You still have.
Would you say you are providing some resistance to the idea that Billy Corgan can run a pro wrestling company?
I think he can run a program. I think he's just going to be relying on the same people Dixie was relying on, and I don't see much of a change there. I think their talent roster is pretty darn good, especially with the guys who have gone in there and have a little bit of time on their hands to reassess what they did in the WWE. And like Bobby Lashley here has been fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Matt Hardy has been fantastic. EC3 has been fantastic during these runs. Drew Galloway. All these guys that had to be reclamation projects after getting released and were kind of trying to find their way have found a voice now. I don't have as much faith in the support staff. I mean, the head, sure, Dixie has her issues and whatnot, but you know what? If you're getting the same battlefield advice from the same generals, you're not going to win the war.
This makes me a little bit excited, though, to see what maybe can happen to Damian Sandow, who is now Aaron Rex. We see as you mentioned, the reclamation projects in which TNA has capitalized on. Maybe he'll be another one of them. One that has been over virtually in everything that he's done. But yeah, I had commented a few months, or was that one of his last television appearances? He hadn't tanned, he hadn't worked out. He looked like he did not expect to ever be on TV again. He looked like he gave up. And I hope that this lights another fire underneath him. I hope they can do something good, something special. I'm interested to see what will happen. I like the idea that Jeff Hardy is now broken as well and has joined Matt Hardy. They found a way to take a really great heel and make them a really great face team. So I'm excited about that. Interested as well. We had SmackDown tonight.
Oh, hold on. Let me put a button on this. My one concern is that they fall into the same trap that even tonight on SmackDown, they did a little bit with Dolph. In that breaking the fourth wall, that the office decides who gets to be a star and who doesn't, as opposed to wins and losses building you up. I think that was a mistake in the Aaron Rex promo. And I think it's a mistake a little bit in to keep referring to it in the Dolph Ziggler program as well, because I think Dolph did a great job here tonight. But let's go into SmackDown.
Yeah, before we get into SmackDown, I want to tell our first-time listeners, sign up for Fightful.com, absolutely free, no charge, no credit card, anything like that. You'll get early access to our Vince Russo podcast, which drops Thursday afternoons. You have access to all 3 of Vince Russo's articles that he writes for us every week. Showdown Joe Ferraro does too. He is the 2009 World MMA Awards Journalist of the Year nominee that we were able to nab. Pretty happy about that. I do a show with him on Wednesdays. Also, we're doing live viewing parties on the site. God, from this past Monday all the way up until next Thursday between TNA, Ring of Honor, NXT, UFC, WWE, all kinds of stuff. We have tons of exclusives. If this is your first time at the website, go to our wrestling MMA sections, click on that tab. Go check out all the exclusives that we have as well, from Brandon Howard's financial analysis, attendance analysis, to backstage news. I had an interview with Chael Sonnen that's up now. We have our owner, Jimmy Van, who posts columns as well. Our Wikipedia True or False segment, always a lot of fun. And also, we are overhauling our forums this week. Those will be up soon. So, yeah, I know that we had a lot of first-time viewers in our SmackDown live viewing party tonight. So, yeah, check out the site. Hope you all enjoy it. We have a ton of great writers on the site. Monday nights, I do a post-Raw show with Rob McCarron of Shake Them Ropes. As you can tell, Tuesday nights, I'm with Jeff Hawkins of Shake Them Ropes. And we have shows coming up for you Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday as well.
My God, we have 5 what I would consider major wrestling shows this weekend and a UFC big show.
Yeah.
Are you going to be able to get your fill?
Oh, man. It's going to be crazy. Like, I looked at the schedule and I realized that NXT would be airing right around the time of the UFC prelims. So Ryan Cook is going to cover NXT for us, I believe. Carlos Toro is covering UFC 202 for us, I believe. So I didn't want to have to watch one and not the other because I got to do a podcast right after UFC 202. So it's going to be slammed. And then Alex Palowski does SummerSlam on Sunday. Ryan is doing Ring of Honor on Friday. It's plus, all the other updates. There's an Evolve show this weekend too, right?
2 Evolve shows, I believe. 2
Evolve shows. Jesus Christ. A lot of stuff. Sign up for Fightful.com, you guys. Absolutely free. Support us. Us. Support us. SmackDown kicked off with the guy that it should have kicked off with, Heath Slater. He's backstage. He brings Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon a fruit basket that he said he got from the farmer's market. As it turns out, he stole somebody's fruit basket that was meant in condolence, which is pretty great. Randy Orton stealing Carlito's gimmick, takes a bite out of the apple after Heath Slater pleads for a job and says, I have an idea, which you knew where that was going. I love Heath Slater, Jeff.
Heath Slater is a national treasure, and his comedic timing is possibly the best in wrestling right now.
I said it last night. I think he may be my favorite comedy character in the history of pro wrestling.
Ooh.
He's reached that level. He's reached that level for me.
He's up there for me, but I can't put him as my favorite. There's too many good ones. There's the Archibald Pecks of the world and, Kay Manito and Toru Yano. I mean, but he's up there. He's top 5.
I don't like Yano. Not a fan. Not a fan.
Taste, my friend. Toru Yano is God's gift to New Japan.
Either way, we have Miz TV. Miz says whoa about 1 million times. Crowd got into it. Dolph Ziggler's out there. Dean Ambrose is out there. They're trashing each other, saying that the other one won't get the job done. Dolph Ziggler talked about how Dean Ambrose is going to have to reach down, use every move in his arsenal. Went on, and then out of nowhere hit a super kick. I liked this spot. I didn't necessarily like everything that led up to it. But that super kick was really out of nowhere. I really liked that.
No, I like that. I like this Dolph Ziggler for the most part. I think when he gets into his angry routine, he gets a bit histrionic at times in terms of why would a guy stand there and watch this guy talk like that as opposed to just punching him. But I like the super kick.
At that point, why wouldn't the Miz punch him? Just
exactly. But I like this new born-again Dolph Ziggler, so to speak, and I tend to think they may actually think there may be something to this and may switch the belt at SummerSlam. I do, just because I think that podcast performance by Dean Ambrose may have taken the shine off of him as long-term championship material.
Yeah, I'm interested in the match because I don't know who's going to win.
Mm-hmm.
That's what pro wrestling ultimately is about to me, unpredictability. If I can't predict something and I'm at least a little bit interested, there we go. Maybe we've seen Dean and Dolph wrestle a million times. I can't really remember because if it happened on a bunch of meaningless Raws or Smackdowns. But this is at least interesting to me, even though it's not on that top level.
Yeah, I hope that they let Dolph change his style a little bit to be a little bit more vicious, as in trying to win, rather than just doing the same old kind of show-off type of gimmick. I'd like to see that in-ring character change up just a little bit here.
Apollo Crews powerbombed The Miz during a break, apparently. They are dead set to never give Apollo Crews any character whatsoever. None.
He's boring as hell, and that's a shame. Especially after his hot debut. They never let him talk. You never give any character development. And I forgot this was a feud. I literally forgot this was going to be a match on SummerSlam.
I'm embarrassed to say that about 8-9 months ago, I thought this guy could be the Cena of the next 7 or 8 years. That's at least right now it's not the case. But then again, John Cena didn't start off too hot in WWE either.
I thought he was going to be the breakout star following Breaking Ground because they really did something with him. They made him look like $1 million on there, and then they did nothing with him.
They did a lot with a lot of people on that show.
Yeah.
To be honest, Breaking Ground was one of my favorite shows on TV, period.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was just a fantastic show. That was the best thing. I mean, Baron Corbin. You want to get a guy over, show him Breaking Ground. I love that.
Yeah, and they followed up with Baron Corbin on that at least. I mean, they at least played up the lone wolf gimmick and everything to that effect to its T, and really gave him a strong debut at WrestleMania, and have continued to make him strong as opposed to Apollo Crews, who just is dying out there.
We'll jump right into the Baron Corbin stuff. What do you think of these Heidenreich-esque segments with Kalisto? Like, he's just finding this guy. And did you ever watch The Adventures of Pete and Pete on Nickelodeon?
Occasionally, yeah.
Do you remember the episode where there was the bully who was on the wrestling team and was cutting all the weight just to wrestle? I think it was the younger Pete, and he like pulled out his spleen and all kinds of stuff to make weight. This is Baron Corbin doing everything he can to stalk Kalisto and just kick his ass. I hope they don't have a match at SummerSlam. I'm okay with 1 minute segments if it's Baron Corbin hunting Kalisto down like in a hayfield, at the supermarket, at an ice machine, at the hotel, anywhere to do this. Hey, and they can tie it in with WWE 2K17 because they're bringing back the backstage environments where you can beat the shit out of people backstage.
Do a Booker T grocery store type thing. Sure. I'm all about that.
That was just the best.
But you know what? I agree with you. I don't want this to be on SummerSlam. I want them to keep this going as a television storyline. I thought that this was kind of a calculated way to keep people invested in Baron Corbin while also, hey, we got too much talent top to bottom on SummerSlam right now. We're not going to have room for him. Kind of like Sami Zayn over on Raw.
Who knows? Maybe one day Kalisto will get us comeuppance and do like a good catering thing. There we go.
Or a good promo.
That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. We are more likely to see the Baron Corbin attack in a hayfield than we are to see a good Kalisto promo. The Usos, American Alpha, and the Hype Bros versus Vaudevillains, Ascension, and Breezango. I like this. This was a lot of fun, especially the finish. American Alpha won. I'm waiting. I need an Usos heel turn. There are none of these other teams that I'm buying on American Alpha's level. Not the Hype Bros, not the Vaudevillains, and that's WWE's fault. Definitely not the Ascension. Breezango, like, they're entertaining to me, but you've got some rehabilitating to do of these guys after how bad they were shit on as singles guys. I love the match, though.
I thought it was your usual tag team schmoz, but it was still very entertaining. Don't get me wrong. I think you're exactly right, and I've been saying that Breezango needs to get away from the comedy and become just the hardcore small guy tag team that does double team moves in order to compete with American Alpha, because that would really do something for them. And then you can bring in, and then you can have the Usos turn, and then that would be a fantastic couple of matches there.
Do they keep their charm if they cut the comedy though, Breezango?
You know what? I think we have so much comedy on WWE that anytime you get guys to be more serious, I think people get into it. I think people are ready for it. I think, I mean, you're kind of hoping that Heath Slater would get some sort of rehab out of this character, but it appears he's just going to be a goof as opposed to kind of snapping and becoming angry out of it. I think WWE often errs too much on the side of entertainment and family entertainment and vaudeville sideshow variety show type of gimmicks, as opposed to what Vince would refer to as Southern wrestling. And Southern wrestling, it seems, I mean, all your angles that have serious heat are the ones people get most interested in. People could care less about the comedy stuff. The comedy is supposed to be a break. It's not supposed to be the norm.
Our fake Janice Carter account in the Discuss forum says, lighten up Breezango's comedy to more of a Rick Martel style. I think that would be good. Yeah,
I'm fine with them being showy and being arrogant more than just kind of, shaving each other's chest and tanning each other and things like that. I mean, I'm more for that heightened arrogance. Sure, go with that, please.
Also, I'm convinced that JBL has it out for Mojo Rawley because he said, ha ha, he's having fun. I love this guy, which automatically buries any friggin' baby face. It's done. Dead in the water. Poor guy. Didn't stand a chance. Eva Marie versus Naomi. Now we have a commenter saying, Naomi's transformation is funny to look back on. From a failed cheerleader to hood rat to now a raver chick. Can't take her seriously. I take her more seriously now than I ever have. She's had a little more time away. She's got a different kind of entrance. She's got a different kind of look. With her entrance, at least.
As I said, I love her DC Comics crazy quilt gimmick. My first thought was that they're glomming a little bit of the Bayley charm onto Naomi, with the bright fluorescent gimmicks that she gives to little girls and things like that. I thought that was a little interesting, but that's what they do. They look for marketing angles on things. She needed a change. That theme is god awful.
She needs to maybe not hit people in the face with her ass as a finish too.
That might help. But of course, Eva Marie stuck in traffic.
Yeah, Eva Marie stuck in traffic. The voiceover guy was incredible.
Having driven in Austin, Texas, I can feel for her.
And the voiceover guy got over with it and said, Eva Marie will not be wrestling tonight because she is stuck in traffic. Two people who were not stuck in traffic, Jeff. I had a story up on the main page. Michelle McCool and The Undertaker. They were there tonight.
Oh.
Yeah.
Just visiting,
but they were there tonight. Story up on the main page, y'all. Check that out. Exclusive info. AJ Styles confronts Alberto Del Rio backstage and trashes Del Rio for beating John Cena, putting him out for months, and then not following up and doing anything. I like this. But, man, Del Rio, poor Del Rio, he's had a beating. And rumor has it Triple H is pissed at him.
Oh, tell me more.
There's a rumor going around, and I haven't been able to confirm it or anything. It is up on our Rumors Are Flying thing. I have people that ask me where I got the Rumors Are Flying thing. That's what I do when I group all the rumors together in a post. Mm-hmm. Rumor Roundup was taken. The rumor mill was taken. So I just go with Rumors Are Flying because that's what Nancy Grace said about 97 times during her Chris Benoit coverage. And I was like, how fitting. Rumors are flying. Did you ever see where Kevin Nash just dominated? I think it was on Hannity and Combs.
That would not shock me.
Oh, my God. They thought they got some big oaf, big steroid-using oaf And they got a big steroid user, all right, but they got one who was college educated, who knew what he was talking about, and they expected him to say, yeah, pro wrestling's a sport. And he didn't say that.
I just assume he took Alan Combs to the woodshed, because Alan Combs just has no game in a debate format.
Alan Combs was remarkably subdued. There was this woman that was sitting in for Sean Hannity, and boy, he let her have it. You all have to see that. I might post it on the site later tonight, but definitely worth watching. Anyway, where was I? I was talking about something interesting, I think.
Oh, the Triple H is mad at Alberto Del Rio.
Yeah, the rumor says that Del Rio is a bad influence on Paige. If anything, I would probably say it's the other way around. I mean, Paige has never come off as like that tame, calm girl. She's like publicly flirted with Scott Hall on social media, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah, Alberto Del Rio has a lot of confusion going on with him anyways. In the ring, he's still trying to get cheers for the yes chant that they tried to co-opt from Daniel Bryan. It's this character never works. They need to do something with it. They need to give him more of an edge, because he's just it's odd. He took the money, he came back, and then they did nothing with him other than that win over Cena that they keep showing.
Randy Orton versus Heath Slater. God, I love Heath Slater. Randy beats the living shit out of Heath Slater and gets DQ'd, then hits a bunch of German suplexes. But that wasn't the story. That wasn't the real story of this. Heath Slater won via disqualification, and Randy, mocked Brock Lesnar after the match. Come backstage, and Heath Slater's back there being examined. And we got some concussion humor. Some people were a little pissy about this, but whatever. I don't care. I
was a little, but yeah. You know what else? Heath Slater is the one guy, and a friend of mine pointed this out. He's the one guy who sells that Garvin stomp correctly, in my opinion.
Yeah.
As opposed to just laying there and getting kicked the entire time. Every time he gets kicked, he's in pain. That was great.
He sells a lot of things correctly. He's one of the best sellers on the roster. I mean, let's be honest. He's had to do a lot of it in his career.
Yeah, and I thought it was an interesting out for the way to get Heath Slater a win.
Yeah, so he gets a win. Daniel Bryan, Shane McMahon come back and offer him a contract. He is out of it, and he mistakes Daniel for Mick Foley and Shane for Stephanie, and goes as far as to say that Shane was beautiful tonight and calls him Stephanie, which causes Shane to rescind his contract offer yet again. This is so great. Where is Evolve this weekend? Is it in New York, or where the hell is it?
Yeah.
Oh God, I hope he shows up there. I hope he shows up at NXT. I hope he's everywhere.
Yeah,
he's great.
Yeah, I wonder though, is Shane gonna be a man of his word? Because he said you need to get a win. He got a win. How dare he rescind this contract?
Yeah. I would love for him to be the guy. Like I had said before, like I can't remember what wrestler I said I hoped would get wins, like via slipping on a banana peel or count out or just weird ways every week. I hope it's either him or Eva Marie when she finally wrestles. I think
the latter's gonna happen at SummerSlam. We'll get into that.
You know what? But yeah, we'll talk about her momentarily. Dean Ambrose versus Eric Rowan. Not a real story to this match besides it's the same Dean Ambrose match you've ever seen in your entire life. He wins via dirty deeds. After the match, Bray walks out on Eric Rowan. Do you think this is leading to a split, or are they going a different route with this? Maybe trying to, I don't know, reinvigorate Rowan of sorts?
I think it's going to be a split because they see Bray as a star, but I don't know where that leaves Luke Harper then. Because I think they're better as a unit. Or at least I think Bray works better when he has a heavy who can interfere on his behalf from time to time. I don't think he works well as a standalone character necessarily.
Alex Palowski said in our boards that Heath should show up at SummerSlam and demand one last chance, and his opponent should be Braun Strowman.
Oh, jeez.
Or even Nia Jax. I'd take that.
They don't like the intergender stuff there.
I know they don't. Becky Lynch and Carmella versus Natalya and Alexa Bliss. Eva Marie showed up during this match and was ran off by Naomi, who, in the midst of all this, Natalya ends up getting locked in the disarmor and has to tap. There's a 6-woman tag at SummerSlam. Natalya, Alexa Bliss, Eva Marie, Becky Lynch, Carmella, Naomi. I'm willing to bet that Eva Marie doesn't get into the match.
I am willing to bet that she is running late to SummerSlam and that she shows up about 2/3, 3/4 of the way into the match, does her entrance, and slips on a banana peel and somehow gets the fall. She has to win, doesn't she? She has to win that first match she's in. Also, Alexa Bliss was pretty darn good in this match, I thought. I mean,
she's great. I love Alexa Bliss.
She has improved so much from her early Pixie Fairy Dust days in NXT, and it's been incremental to the point where I don't think we've noticed it necessarily unless you're not paying attention for a long time. But she plays this heel role really good, and I thought she did a great job in this tag match. You know, Carmella's an afterthought. I think she may take the pin at SummerSlam, but I think the heel team has to win. I think Eva Marie has to get the pin, and I think it has to be one of those, oh, come on, really type of pins.
I'm interested to see how the women's situation plays out. Like, if Charlotte doesn't win at SummerSlam over Sasha Banks, I don't know what else there is for her on Raw. Maybe a little thing with Dana Brooke, but I don't know. I was sitting there thinking, what if she got traded straight up for Eva Marie?
You're leaving a lot of heavy lifting then for Sasha Banks.
Oh, you sure are. You sure are. I say this because I think if Nikki Bella comes back, she's coming back on the Smackdown brand. And Charlotte versus Nikki Bella is an automatic program you can do.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Charlotte's going to be like, what the hell? Eva Marie and, Stephanie McMahon. Well, Eva Marie got 5 million YouTube hits for blah, 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 blah. She did, though. 5 million YouTube hits for that wardrobe malfunction. But I don't know. I think that would actually leave SmackDown too top-heavy and Raw really thin. But I don't know what in the hell Charlotte is going to do on Raw after Sasha Banks, if anything. I don't know. Who else is a babyface on Raw?
They could turn her. They could put her with Nia Jax.
Ugh. I think Nia Jax is going to be next in line for the title.
Sasha? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then who else is there in the women's side?
Because I'm sure that Sasha and Nia Jax can do something pretty good.
You have Nia. You'd always bring up Bayley.
Yeah, sure. You could bring up Bayley. I'd be okay with that. But, man, how bad does that make SmackDown look with the new talent? Because you got to think that, I don't know, that SmackDown side is so thin. And Nikki Bella, she's not going to be full-time. She's just TV.
It's lacking in star power on that SmackDown side. I could see why you'd want to put Charlotte over there. I wouldn't trade her for Eva Marie, though. I'd trade her for maybe Becky Lynch.
Well, let's be honest. Eva Marie is about as valuable as most WWE divas right now, or WWE women right now. Her stuff on TV is fantastic.
Yeah.
They're not having her talk. They're not having her wrestle. They found the one perfect thing that she can do that doesn't involve her talking or wrestling.
Look hot and come in late. That's all she has to do.
Also, Paige, I think, could be another big heel on Raw. They've flipped or flopped her so many times. If that you do a Paige versus Sasha program, I think that'd be really good too. And then you got Paige, Nia Jax, back-to-back for Sasha, leading into a WrestleMania program.
They got to do something with Paige. I mean, if they do bring her back, if she's not injured, I mean, she's been living off potential in that Emma NXT match since she got brought up, because the AJ feud did nothing for her. And then everybody's, I'm a little bit tired of Paige apologists, to be honest with you. I'm tired of hearing tired of hearing how great she was on the indies. That's great.
I'm tired of hearing all the apologists for the female wrestlers because,
well, Some of them are well deserved.
It happens a lot. It happens a lot. Let's be real. Whenever this stuff happens, whenever somebody screws up or doesn't live up to the hype or anything like that, there are always these people that come out of the woodwork. Oh, well, this person. I don't give a damn. They're on the standard of the WWE. So deliver, no matter who you are. No matter who you are. Plus, I mean, I see so many people. You got to watch out for this woman on the indies, this woman on the indies, this woman on the indies. And then I go and I watch their matches, and they're bad. They're bad. Now, not everybody is going to be like an Evilise, for Christ's sakes, but Jesus, man.
Well, the other thing is people will tell you go watch these matches thinking that WWE is interested in great female wrestlers, and they're not. They're interested in very attractive women who can physically handle wrestling. They don't care if they're a good wrestler. They care more if they're model hot, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I think that, Paige is how old? Like, what, 23, 24?
Yeah. It's too early to throw her away, but, you know.
Yeah, I had people saying that there were those backstage that were, like, questioning whether she'd be around. I asked the people that I know backstage. They said that's not even been a conversation, that, you know, a lot of people chalk it up to her being a young girl. So, I mean, I hope she can right the ship because she is a valuable tool, regardless of if she has delivered in the ring or not, she can still be valuable.
Well, yeah, and also, how do you expect a lot of these women to work on their craft, so to speak, if you have them running around doing media appearances, doing reality shows, doing all these things? And, yeah, I know that that's what the training center is for. But once you're out of the training center, you still have to improve. You still have to top your game. And instead, they're just using them as branding mechanisms as opposed to allowing them to get better. So,
somebody says still waiting on Candice LeRae. Yeah, I mean, me too.
I wouldn't hold my breath.
Well, obviously, but I would love to see that. I remember all the way back to stuff with Human Tornado.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God.
Human Tornado. The guy that got me into Pro Wrestling Guerrilla was Human Tornado.
Yeah, well, I was at that Burbank show where some of that stuff happened. Yeah.
That's a guy. Human Tornado.
I thought he was going to be huge. I did.
Me too. He was the best thing about Wrestling Society X.
Yes.
I thought he was the best thing about them. A wrestling pimp that had balls of steel, and anytime he got hit in the balls, he would pimp slap people. And he had these great things where he would dance in the middle of his matches to the Beverly Hills Cop theme, and he would incorporate it in chain wrestling. Then he disappeared. There were like some crazy rumors, and I'm sure you've heard the rumors that were going around, which we, irresponsible to talk about, but he's wrestling now, so it's kind of hard to believe those rumors.
Is he taking bookings now? Because I saw him. Yeah, I saw him as a spectator. I saw him as a spectator at PWG. I didn't know that his medical issues had gotten cleared up.
He's actively wrestling, and I'm pretty sure is trying to get back into PWG.
That may be a tall hill to climb.
Oh yeah. Now, see, you're more plugged into things like that than me because I don't live on the West Coast, anything of that nature. But damn, I loved Human Tornado. And I love him even more because he's the reason that I found PWG. And I have like 99 ways to get killed by a pimento or whatever the hell it is. I thought that was the coolest name of an event ever. So I was like, I'm going to order this and watch this. And I would see him do Canadian destroyers off of stages through a table. Man, yeah, I thought he was going to be huge. Del Rio versus Cena. Cena wins via attitude adjustment after, your Alberto Del Rio versus John Cena match. A good match, of course. AJ Styles hit the phenomenal forearm after the match and says he's sick of hearing the future goes through John Cena, and this Sunday he will beat him and be the new face that runs the place. Mm-hmm. Styles goes for the Styles Clash. Cena counters with an AA, then hits an AA on the stairs, then through the announce table. What'd you make of this?
I think it's hopeful for my thought that AJ Styles has to win at SummerSlam because WWE math is whoever's on top. The opposite happens at the pay-per-view. This is the best feud for the SmackDown side. Possibly the second best built feud after Charlotte and Sasha. since that actually had real heat afterwards. So did this, kind of. And I think AJ needs a win, be it hook or by crook. He could be with the club. It would be much better clean. But I think since John Cena's not going to be on the road full time, I think since they've established that they'd rather have a star-based feud over the title feud, and you have Randy Orton there, you have Bray Wyatt if you wanted to, and you could even put AJ up for the belt next if you wanted to. But I think this is the time to solidify AJ Styles as a bankable star, not just in the ring, not just as a worker, but as a personality. And I think a big win at SummerSlam would do that for him.
AJ Styles seems so much more comfortable as a heel.
He is so much better. He is night and day better. It's almost as if, all right, we're going to give you this trial run as a face. We're not going to let you talk. And then it's like, well, would you like to try being a heel? And he does it, and he just runs with it. And he's so good in it, this role.
He goes from, in my opinion, as far as a character, from like a C+, B- as a babyface to an A as a heel.
He was Apollo Crews as a face. That's exactly who he was. And this thing,
absolutely.
And this thing gave him life, and being with the club gave him life. And now on his own, a win over John Cena really gets the ball rolling on a nice feud if they decide to put him with Orton next. I think that'd be a phenomenal, no pun intended, feud.
Now we have to address the biggest wrestling news of the week, or the biggest wrestling question of the week, Jeff.
Oh.
Is Flo Rida ducking Bo Rida?
He's ducking Bo Rida. He's ducking the one-man rock band.
And why in the shit does WWE love him so much? Flo Rida and Florida Georgia Line and all these Florida-inspired musical acts. Probably love Pitbull, too. That would be their style.
Gives them the cred with the kids in the urban community.
Shit. Any of my friends that live in the urban community that caught me listening to Flo Rida would ridicule me mercilessly.
Yes. Plus, I assume he lets them use the music for free.
Did you see the CM Punk documentary?
I did.
What'd you think of it?
I think. Go ahead.
It was funny. I saw somebody tweeting the other day, and they were ridiculing everything about it. And I'm like, okay, I've personally seen dozens, if not hundreds, of people come in on their first day.
Yeah.
It was no better or worse than anything I had seen in the first few months.
It's establishing a template. It's only establishing this guy coming from another walk of life, trying to do something that, maybe he didn't have the opportunity to do, or that he, that he's a little bit past his prime to do, and that he's not used to. I thought, it was fine. It was CM Punk's never going to be the most open and gregarious fella in the world. So a documentary about him always would be difficult. And especially, I was very interested in the fact that AJ is not into MMA. That was interesting.
Yeah. I saw somebody that was like, to the fact that Anthony Pettis was coaching CM Punk on his cage wrestling, and like Anthony Pettis, former UFC champion, couldn't offer CM Punk something. I'm like, dude, what the hell? Like, yeah, sure. In the UFC scope of things, if Anthony Pettis is up there against Gilbert Melendez, Anthony Pettis ain't the guy you want on the cage, but as it pertains to CM Punk, who knew absolutely nothing.
The basics. Yeah, no, what CM Punk did was the right thing. He found himself a very good fight camp, humbled himself to go there, as opposed to like renting coaches to come to him and to do it on his time, because he could have done it with the money that he had. I view it as, if Pat Miletich were still running a camp, CM Punk would have probably gone there.
Yeah. Also, what was the other thing that I wanted to note? Hell, I can't remember. Either way, I liked the show. Mm-hmm. I thought it was fun. Thought it was a good show. He is no better or worse than anybody I've ever seen at 2 months in. People were like, well, he got his ass kicked in his first smoker. Yeah, he had a smoker 2 months in, which also does not happen a lot, at least where I'm from, does not happen a lot. Also, the guy that he faced was 4-0 at the time in MMA, professional MMA.
Is he training the right way? Yes. Is he going to have these moments in his training? Yes. Does he deserve a UFC contract? No. But
I agree. There are other guys who have made their UFC debuts. Hey, there was a guy, now granted, this was about 20 years ago, by the name of Ludwig Borga, who made I believe his pro MMA debut in the UFC.
Tony Holm, yes.
Yeah, got his ass kicked. But, I always encourage people, I really, really encourage you, take a wrestling class, take an MMA class, take a jiu-jitsu class, anything of that nature, just to see if you like it. Because for me, it was life-changing. You don't realize, I went back after several years away recently. I didn't realize how much more I knew than people who hadn't trained, and I didn't realize how much less I knew than people who did train all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And CM Punk is going to experience the highs and lows of that. I'm sure there are going to be a couple of things that he's picked up rolling around in a pro wrestling ring that translate over. I mean, that shit does happen. It does happen. I'm really excited to see the journey of this guy and where things go. So I thought the show was really fun.
Now what we need is a documentary on Rob and the physics of eating a hat.
Oh, how often do you think he Googles edible hats?
Oh, not at all. Not at all. I think he is dead set on thinking this fight's never happening.
I bet every day he's checking the official UFC event page.
Mm-hmm.
He's checking Fightful.com to see if we have any updates. And boy, do we ever have updates. About 2 or 3 dozen a day, guys. Saturdays, Sundays, those aren't slow news days for us. Fightful.com has it all. And he's on there checking, I hope CM Punk is pulled out of his fight. By the way, I have an interview that's going to drop, exclusive stuff with one of CM Punk's training partners. We'll probably put that out a little bit closer to his fight.
You have another one with Muhammad Hassan coming up too, don't you?
Oh, I do. I have a follow-up with Muhammad Hassan. I might repost my long form I did with him on Fightful, but I have a follow-up column. He doesn't talk to a lot of people in wrestling, but he seems to like me for some reason, so that's pretty cool.
Is he still in Los Angeles or no longer?
No, he's in New York.
Okay.
Yeah. He's a vice principal, very happy, and
I just know he was trying to get into the acting gig for a while there, and then
yeah, he was. Actually, I talked to him about that too, so that will be in the story. Speaking of stories, which you can read at Fightful.com, you guys, especially if you sign up, absolutely free. Jon Jones the other night dropped a little, sort of a bombshell. It's a bombshell to me. Says that he got some good news, he and his camp, and that he expects to be back in the cage, hopefully, very soon. Dana White did an interview with Jim Rome today where he said, and quote, "I don't even know if this is public. I don't know if I can talk about it. Normally, I talk about anything, but when it comes to medical stuff, you can't do it. It looks like Jon Jones did not take the supplement everyone thought he took. It's in other things. If that's true, and that's what USADA and the Nevada State Athletic Commission say happened, it could look good for Jon Jones." And then he says, later on, he didn't completely absolve Jones of any blame. He said he didn't get a bum rap. But with the substance that he was on, it was a pill you take when you were coming off steroids. But this thing apparently is in other things. Jon took something else. Where he doesn't come off clean is you have to tell USADA everything you put in your body leading up to a fight. He did not. Now, this is interesting for many reasons. One of those reasons being clomiphene, the substance in which he popped for, is also the substance in which Brock Lesnar popped for. This could be the difference in a 6-month suspension and a 2-year suspension. This could be a lot of things. This could be Jon Jones saying, hey, USADA, I'm ready to sue your asses for about $10 million. It could, I don't know if they signed something to prohibit that from happening. There are a lot of question marks that surround this, Jeff. What were your feelings when you heard the Jones news and the Dana White quote?
It feels like they got together and found a loophole. That's what it feels like. I mean, it smells like the tainted meat defense is what it sounds like. If it's in other things, so to speak. But didn't he fail for 2 substances? There were 2 estrogen-type substances?
Metabolites, yes, of another one.
How do you do that? What kind of cocktail do you get to fail 2 different things? and not
It's
tell
hard to-
anybody. That's the thing.
It's hard to tell.
And also, if he didn't do anything wrong, so to speak, his behavior at that press conference where he's crying and I'm so sorry. Why is he acting like that if he did nothing wrong?
Well, it's funny. Chael Sonnen said that when he was guilty, he ran and hid, and he was just like, can't wait for this to be over. So he said that the reaction which Jon Jones had was unlike anything that he had seen, because he was expecting Jon Jones to run and hide. And traditionally, when Jon Jones has been in trouble, that's exactly what he's done. He has run and hid.
Well, he does.
Literally.
He runs and hides, and then when he's called on the carpet, he throws himself on the mercy of his charm and his personableness. And that's what he's doing here, which makes me suspicious. I'm sorry. It takes a lot.
I'm suspicious of everybody. I'm suspicious of absolutely everybody.
It takes a lot. It takes effort to get busted for stuff like this. Because if you're clean, you're clean. Okay, there's no way around it. You're clean. If you get busted for something, well, I took a tainted supplement, I was taking this medication, there are rules and regulations for all this stuff. You are responsible for what you put into yourself, be it tainted supplement, tainted meat, or not. Okay? You're a professional athlete. You're paid big bucks for this. Control your input.
Well, in the case of tainted meat, and they did have a fighter.
Well, that's another country, though. That's not America.
Yes.
So, I mean,
you never know. You never know.
I think Jon Jones can afford a butcher. I'm sorry.
I'm cautiously optimistic. Well, Jon Jones can afford a driver too, and it took him a long time to get one of those.
Yeah.
But the thing is, say Jon Jones is innocent. Holy shit, they got to reevaluate the USADA thing after Tim Means and Yoel Romero and possibly Jon Jones. Not only that, this had ramifications on what was supposed to be the biggest show they were ever going to have. Jon Jones missed out on a lot of money, Jeff.
Jon Jones is going to be incorrigible if he gets let off of this, because he's a man who doesn't learn from his mistakes. I mean, and I think he's a phenomenal physical talent as a fighter. I don't hold much hope for him. I thought a 2-year ban might scare him straight a bit, might have him reevaluate priorities and things like that. If he gets off, man, I mean, great. Cormier will get his fight and he'll lose again. Then we'll have to, and then we'll just have to deal with Jones being Jones.
Brendan Schaub, who used to train with Jon Jones and is not a bullshitter. I'll say that. Brendan Schaub, not a bullshitter.
No.
Said, quite honestly, Jon Jones could get up from a year in jail, roll off of a prison mattress, and beat anybody in the UFC light heavyweight division.
Oh, I don't doubt that.
Yeah. Conor McGregor wants $100 million for the Floyd Mayweather fight, and you know what? I don't blame him.
He better make that pledge now, because he's gonna get the crap beat out of him on Saturday.
You think so? I'm interested. I can't wait. UFC 202.
I find Conor McGregor vastly overrated as a fighter. I think he's gotten some lucky breaks with some guys with some short camps, and I think Nate Diaz is just a better athlete overall. I think Nate Diaz is going to take him down and tap him out again.
That was not an easy first 5 minutes for Nate Diaz. It wasn't domination like the UFC and Conor McGregor are spinning it, but he was laying down a beating.
Yeah, and that's the thing about the Diaz brothers, is they always want to show their toughness in there.
Also, Tim Kennedy returning against Rashad Evans. Excited for that. We're going to talk about all this stuff at length tomorrow with Showdown Joe Ferraro. If you guys have not, even if you all don't watch MMA, I encourage you to tune in to hear me and Showdown Joe talk, because that might get you into it. We've had a few people saying such, and this UFC 202 show is a big one. Another thing, UFC's Leslie Smith has a tumor and said that she couldn't afford treatment. She appeared with several fighters about starting a union. UFC got wind of this, about the tumor, and is taking care of it. Very good move on the UFC's part, Jeff. You think that was done out of the goodness of their heart, or to be like, hey, maybe you shut the fuck up about this union thing.
Little from column A, little from column B.
I agree. Also on there, Cajun Johnson. Did you see where he like trashed CM Punk on that Q&A?
No. Tell me more.
Oh, so CM Punk did this Q&A. You know those Q&As UFC does where they don't screen people for alcohol consumption and crazy stuff always happens. Well, Cajun Johnson, who I don't even know if he's still under contract. He's fought in the UFC fairly last year and won, but I don't know if he's still in the UFC or not. I'm going to try to look. I think he is, but he got on the mic and said, I don't like that you get this chance in the UFC. Meanwhile, I got hurt in the UFC, and he approached it very badly. He came off as a crybaby instead of a guy saying, listen, I want a shot. Like, he fights at lightweight too. So this is a guy who could easily fight at 170 and fight CM Punk in the future if he would like. Say, hey, I'm in the UFC. I don't like the chance that you're getting. You're getting paid a lot more than me. Meanwhile, I'm sidelined. I'll have to send you the link. It was from a couple months ago. Boy, he came off bad. And it's weird because his plight was an admirable one. He wanted equal rights among MMA fighters.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. It's still a star-driven business, and CM Punk is more of a name than him. I understand it. I'd be mad if I were him too. To be honest with you, yeah, I'd be bitter. I'd be angry. I'd be gritting my teeth. But at the end of the day, life's not fair. Sorry. It's a meritocracy once you get wins, but he ain't winning.
In other news, Nate Diaz is the most responsible member of his entire camp, which is no shock. Gilbert Melendez failed a drug test.
Yeah.
Leslie Smith running around with her ears busted off and tumors. Poor woman.
Nick is asking for six hours of sleep before he takes a drug test.
I'm about to get to that. Jake Shields failed a drug test a while back. They beat the shit out of people in the cage like Mayhem Miller. Meanwhile, Nick Diaz is supposed to be tested by USADA. He just got reinstated a couple weeks ago off an 18-month ban over marijuana. And he's telling USADA agents, hey, can you come back in 6 to 8 hours or 5 to 6 hours? What I think is he thought maybe he was about to fail another drug test, but then maybe somebody said, hey, buddy, they can't test you for marijuana right now.
That's a possibility. I mean, it is Nick. And Nick also has what we like to call fuck you money. So he doesn't need to fight again if he never has to. I assume he was smoking and they came to test him and he didn't want to test at that time.
Oh, he could light up a joint right in front of them. There's nothing they could do. It's out of competition. We have a special feature coming up tomorrow, Jeff. Do you want to know what it is?
Yes.
On Fightful.com. So go there and register. Absolutely free, guys. Justin Golightly, and he's providing original artwork, which I'm way too excited about, is providing a special article about touch butt in the park with some dork. Are you familiar with such?
I am not. I'm sorry.
Do you remember when Conor McGregor had...
Oh, yeah. Okay.
He has his movement coach, Ido Portal. And he does all these things, these tricks and stuff in parks of the week of fight camp. Yeah. And Nate Diaz says, I'm training with real fighters. You're out there playing touch butt with some dork in the park. Well.
Oh, dear Lord.
Featured tomorrow on Fightful.com will be Justin Golightly's take on touch butt in the park with some dork.
I'm going to tell you something. The day that the Diaz's retire will be a sad day in professional fighting.
Sad day. I hope those guys reproduce. Because I hope when I'm 70 and covering MMA that I have the great or the grandkids of Nick and Nate Diaz, whether they be female or male.
Their children are going to come out smelling like weed and having scar tissue on their forehead.
Man, I can't wait. Also, guys, if you all didn't check out Brandon Howard's analysis of the G1 Climax attendance, that's under our wrestling exclusive section. Click that tab. We have news, exclusive results, events. We have a bunch of videos that go up all the time, too. Boxing, MMA, and wrestling. Carlos Toro has been doing some awesome coverage of the boxing Olympic results. He's got a story up on the fighter that's accusing the Olympics of rigging a fight. It's coming up tomorrow.
Oh, there was the Kazakhstan-Russia heavyweight boxing thing. That was just garbage. Do you see that?
I didn't get to see it. What happened?
Oh, they gave it to the Russian, even though the guy from Kazakhstan beat the crap out of him. I mean, it's the worst decision I've seen since the Roy Jones robbery.
No, I mean, those guys from Kazakhstan get their potassium.
Yeah.
Let's go. I've got to check this out. I'm excited. Also up on the page, Alex Palowski's Uncooked Raw reaction. This guy is entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
We want to bring you all some different stuff, some more entertaining stuff. Like I've said, you can get regular recaps anywhere, but you can only get Vince Russo's writing at Fightful.com, Showdown Joe's writing at Fightful.com, my writing, Brandon Howard's writing at Fightful.com. You're only going to get Alex Palowski's at Fightful.com. He's going to be a guy that we're probably going to have to outbid some people on with coverage. But lots of crazy stuff coming up this week, Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a big week.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to like both Evolve shows, NXT. I mean, there's just going to be a lot of good stuff this weekend, I think.
You know what I'm looking forward to?
Even SummerSlam is going to be a good card.
I'm looking forward to Shake Them Ropes this week. Why don't you tell us about it?
Well, you can follow the show at Shake Them Ropes, all one word. It'll be myself and Rob McCarron if Rob can find some time. He's having a bit of a time crunch this week, so we'll see. We plan on going over NXT TakeOver and SummerSlam cards, giving our predictions, what we'll think will happen here. And also our top 100 match to see before you die on the WWE Network this week from 2004, Randy Orton versus Mick Foley in a no-holds-barred match. That was very good. I believe it was Backlash 2004, if I'm remembering correctly. I was mixing that up in No Mercy. Also, should you want to give me any feedback, comments, criticisms, you tell me I suck, whatever you want to do, go to the Fightful.com online forums. I created a thread called General Smackdown After Show Feedback, and you trolled me on the Suicide Squad, which was son of a bitch.
Yeah. Either way, I'm excited for Shake Them Ropes. As always, guys, of course, register for the site. Visit draftbeast.com. It's my favorite fantasy sports site. They have these goon games where you pick the most penalized players and win. Also,
nice.
They have games where you try to pick the worst team possible to win. We're talking about getting some MMA up there. Ooh, I hope so. But yeah, share all of our stories, Facebook, Twitter, Reddit. All that stuff really helps. We have a pretty lofty goal for the website, and we haven't started marketing yet. There are still some changes that are going to be pushed live soon, including our revamped forums. I am back tomorrow night with Showdown Joe. I'll let you know ahead of time on Twitter when that podcast will drop. Also, Thursday afternoon with Vince Russo. You have to register for the site, absolutely free, to get early access to that. Otherwise, you'll be waiting a few days to get the Vince Russo podcast. Also, Saturday night after UFC 202, I'm with Showdown Joe. Then Alex Palowski is going to hop on, talk NXT TakeOver after SummerSlam Sunday. Then it goes right back again Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It never ends.
Hardest working man
Jeff,
in podcasting.
It's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff, I want to thank you so much. And, of course, I want to thank our audience. Until tomorrow.
Good